is Charmaine from Fantastic Crafts. I hope all of you are having a wonderful day. Today we're going to be making a Christmas card that is what I call a make a fuss card. It is nice, it's fun, but it is time consuming. It's one of those cards that I don't think I would make too many of, but I would make it for those special people that are around me that I would really like to hand deliver cards to, or you could mail it to, it doesn't matter. But what you start off with, and I've mentioned this before, if you have a full sheet of double-sided adhesive paper, this would be a very easy card, but I don't. So I have these strips. So I wanted to show that you can do it anyway with any material you have. It doesn't necessarily always have to be exactly what you see someone else on YouTube or anywhere else use. You can use what you have, and yet I promise you it will turn out just fabulous. So what I did was I used these little double-sided tape strips, and these are the thicker ones. I have done it in the past with thinner strips of the double-sided tape, but this time I had it a little easier and just used this thicker one. So once you're done, all you have to do is just trim off the excess from the sides, and how I do that is just I turn it over and then I cut up any of the extra hanging over the paper. Now, you really do have to varnish this paper very well because you want that tape to stick to your cardstock. So how I do that is I just take my bone folder and I just take it on the back side and just really varnish it well. I use this really pretty Doris cover plate that I recently got. They're just leaves and some berries, and it's perfect for Christmas. And I really liked how it looked, so I was excited when I got it and I could play with it. So all I did was I took that the cardstock that I had put that double-sided tape on, and with that tape side up, I put my plate on that, and then I ran it through my Big Shot. You can use any kind of die cut machine. I just happen to have a Big Shot, so that's what I use. So once I was done with that, with die cutting that out, I gently removed parts of the die cut out. Now, because my paper was a little smaller than I wanted it to be, it did cut off the top part of this die cut or this cover plate, but it doesn't matter because what we're going to be doing is it's very, very forgiving, because it really doesn't matter if you cut it perfectly or if you didn't cut it perfectly, which I didn't. So it really doesn't matter, as you will see in just a little bit. Once I removed that die cut from that cover plate, I gently removed the release paper. Now, I know this seems like it's going to take forever, but I promise you, it just only takes about 5 minutes if you have the thinner double-sided tape. Now, if you have the whole sheet, this is a breeze. But because I didn't, it took a little bit longer. But if you had the sheet, it would probably take a few minutes. For me, it took about 5 minutes, which doesn't seem too long, I know, but it wasn't. It went by really quickly, and I sometimes enjoy doing these kind of things because it's just like quilling or quilting or any kind, making a quilt or crocheting is just kind of a mindless thing where you can just not have to focus on it too much, but just do, and I love doing it. So to me, the 5 minutes went by really quickly. So once I removed all the release paper, I just dumped some glitter. I know this is probably making everyone like just jaw crunch, but this really isn't too bad of a mess. I just use a little piece of paper and then I dump my fine glitter. It does have to be a fine glitter so it sticks to the paper. Then I take a non-porous anything. I happen to have the silicone, just to kind of varnish it a little bit more so all that glitter just sticks. And the cool thing about this technique is that glitter doesn't come off. Once it's on, it's on. And that's what's amazing about this technique. I love that. And you could do this same technique with glitter paper if you have glitter paper. But like I said, I wanted to show you guys a mini variety. and many different ways that you can create the same look, but in different ways, depending on which supplies you have. So once I was done varnishing, I just cut that cover or that die cut out just around the cover plate where the border is, because I wanted to make these leaves kind of go in a different shape than what it had come in, or what it die cuts in. So once I was done cutting all of that, I will move on to the next step where you will see how I have placed this onto my card base. After I was done cutting those leaves out, I decided that I was going to do directly on a card base. So I just placed some art glitter glue onto the back side of these little leaves that I had cut out, and I am going to be making a border around the top and the side of this card base. And this is why I had cut out these pieces, because I kind of wanted to make my own little bouquet or my own little border of this. And sometimes that's what you want to do, and sometimes it makes your border dies or cover plate dies or any kind of die just have one more use for it, because you don't necessarily always have to use it for its purpose. You can get creative and use it for many different cards or different techniques. And this is a technique I love because I really thought these little holly leaves kind of reminded me of just kind of leaves or vines just coming all over a piece of paper onto its sentiment. I've seen this card somewhere before, so I really had this kind of an envision of it. So that's exactly what I did. I just cut that apart and then I glued on the back side with my art glitter glue. And the fine tip is really nice for this because they are a little smaller. So I just kind of placed those onto my card base, and I didn't worry about any of that going out of the card base because I am going to turn it over and then cut the extra off. So it really doesn't matter. I wanted it to go all the way to the border as much as it could. And see, I couldn't have achieved this look with just the cover plate. I wanted this very particular look of the side and the top part to have these little veins or vines of not veins, vines of leaves and holly berries, and just that's the look I wanted it to be. So I was really excited when I was able to achieve that look by just simply cutting the plate, the images or the die cut from the plate. I know it seems simple, but I hadn't thought about that until I was making this card, and I'm like, oh well, yeah, of course, that's how I can make that card. It's gorgeous like that. So once I was done and satisfied with all my border pieces, the side and the top, I decided I wanted to leave that little space on the bottom right empty because I wanted to put a sentiment on that. So I decided to use the Sleigh Ride stamp set by May Made It, and this is a larger 6x8 stamp set, and I thought it would be perfect because the sentiments are large enough and it would fit perfectly on that space that I left blank just for this purpose. So I just used my block and then a VersaFine Onyx Black because I wanted the sentiment to be intense. And as I've said before in many of my videos, when you want an intense sentiment, you want to use VersaFine Onyx Black. Now, it does get messy sometimes. Sometimes you make, because you can get the ink on your fingers, and if you touch the paper, it may smudge onto your project, but it works so great for sentiments. And I have a close-up over here of the sentiment just to show you how gorgeous it looks with the VersaFine Onyx Black. I really hope you guys enjoyed this technique and this card. And if you did, make sure you like this video and comment. And if you haven't already, please, please, please subscribe. Until next time, everybody, have a wonderful week. Bye.